Let's go.
Yo, and what up, and welcome back to Grizz 901. It's been a minute. A lot of things have changed, and Nate, he might be a little sleepy. People are already talking about Nate's baby, little Theodore. We're going to get into him a little bit later. We're going to ask some questions. I have so many questions. I haven't talked to Nate. I haven't seen Nate many times, but tonight we're going to get into what is halftime. It's not your normal post-game show, but I'm your host, Daniel Greer. Nate will be joining me very, very shortly. We're going to get into breaking down the first half. And what we normally do is break down the entire game, kind of come off the top rope, give you our immediate thoughts. Well, we're going to give you our immediate thoughts. So it's only about half. And then we're going to get into a little bit of a look ahead of the second half and what we see. We're going to watch it live with you. And then I do have a Grizz trivia question. So a favorite of everybody's in our segment number 2. And our new segment is the look ahead and the look around the league as we look ahead to the Grizzlies' new opponent. And we're going to look around the league a little bit, see what's happening, and give you a little bit of that. Nate's in charge of that. Zero chance we have anything planned for that. But we're going to go ahead and look around a little bit of the league tonight, but also look ahead for the Grizzlies. But that's it. We have so much that we're going to do this season. I'm not going to show everything. I'm not going to open the bag tonight, but I have a lot that I want to show you. It's just not tonight. So make sure you tune in. We're going to be live tonight, but also at halftime next Monday night. I'm on vacation. I won't be here, but our guy, he'll be here. Let's bring him in. Is he back? Is he got that dad bod? Does he have the new dad string?
Who's sleep? Who's sleep?
I love it. I love it. What up, Nate? How are you?
I'm watching preseason basketball, so we're taking our time. We're doing some self-control here. But we're back.
I got a question. Everybody wants to know. What's up with the baby. What is his name? I gave it away, but what's his name? What do you call him? Anything fun about that? Let's talk about you and your life first before we get into everything else.
Yep. I am the proud father of a 3-month baby boy who has already survived heart surgery. So he's kind of a stud. Don't know if you know that. But nah, man, he's good. He sleeps awesome. I sleep awesome. And look, I even got a hat.
Papa Bear.
Nah, man, it's good. I did get kicked out of my latest podcast setup. So we're experimenting again for like the 4th time in a year. But nah, man, it's awesome. He's doing awesome. Mom's doing awesome. It's been great. Life's good.
Yeah. Listen, life always good, especially when you can have the new baby. First kiddo, man. Huge. But a shout out to so many people that my new endeavor that a lot of people who don't follow me, Driving the Line, Robbie Hockey, who is a very dear friend of mine. And he's from that side of the world. And so we'll try to see if we can bring those together. But listen, I will say there is so many things talking about. One, you, Nate, but 2, we have this one. And I showed it earlier, but Keith, live from the game down in the Big D. Keith, let us know what's happening. Is there anything fun going on? And is the halftime show, is it good or does it suck for preseason? I'm always interested for sure.
It's preseason. It's meant to suck.
Right. All right. So listen, let's get into the off the top row as we always do, getting into the game. We only have a half. It is preseason, but I want to know what's your thoughts, because obviously it's sloppy, and our guy Ryan, who's going to be a part of Grizz 901, he'll be standing in for me, I know, next week, but also as we go, we're going to try to include him into the family a little bit more, just because I know me and you, we have our, all 3 of us have families, but we have to take off time. So he'll be, the third wheel, as you say, but a very good third wheel, above average third wheel. But about the game, Scottie Pippen is your points leader. Anything else that you got in this game?
It just makes me glad that they don't NFL it and they actually play in the preseason. It's clearly needed. Unless Ja turns an ankle, in which case I'd rather them NFL it and not do the preseason. Yeah. But honestly, man, it's first game of preseason. I gotta say the proudest thing I am is that my wife is in the other room yelling at them to the point I have to close the door. And she's that mad in preseason. I feel like I've done my job to get her invested in the team. But generally, man, I think Brandon looks good, which is probably the biggest question mark.
Yeah.
Coming in, so that makes me really happy. Obviously, he's putting in work and looks looks comfortable. Edie catching an alley-oop from Ja pretty much makes the game for me. And you see Jake LaRavia making me eat crow.
Drew wants to talk about
again,
it.
and again. And again. Listen, dude. Jay Rabbit doing awesome stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. We always say we will be the first ones to say awesome if that dude ends up being awesome. Yeah. Listen, he's playing well. So we'll see what transfers to the actual season, but I'll take it, dude.
Yeah. Wayne was, can we not overreact about preseason games? He just wants to get a look at the second unit. I agree. Like, I don't want to react either. Yeah. But if you give me a chance to overreact about maybe a little Jake LaRavia being good, maybe Zach Edey getting some boards here, as Rusty says, and Santi rebounding, if you give me a chance to overreact, I'm going to take it. Now, if it's bad, I'm going to let you have it. But if it's good, let me overreact. I love it.
We're doing a halftime show of a preseason game on October 7th. What else are we here to do? It's the only thing we have. Yeah. It's the only thing we have. It's like last year when Vince Williams would score 20, but they get beat by 20. Right. Vince is all we had.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the overreactions.
It definitely was. Let's talk about something that is important, and that's Lloyd Gross brings it up. He hasn't watched it. Ja is back. He did return, which is a bonus. Ja rolled his ankle, which is truly fitting. Let's just be honest, okay? Let me just set it up for you, Lloyd. Whether you saw it or not, go check out a highlight. There's so many that are doing the highlights. Who's our guy that does them really well? I cannot remember his name. Let me know in the chat, or you, Nate, who does them really well. I cannot remember his name, but he's always like the main guy who does the clips.
There.
What's his name?
I can't remember.
John.
I can't remember, but he's awesome.
Yes. Listen, I've been out of Grizz Twitter for so long. But what happened is he's running, he's defending, he's going back in transition, and literally the ball hits his foot and makes him roll it as he's running. It's crazy.
It is there. Xavier Dawson. Zaytime takes.
Yep. Zaytime takes is kind of his handle, but Lloyd, that's it, man. It's only fitting for the Grizzlies, but listen, it's a good time. It's always good. Just not when Ja rolls his ankles, but the Grizzlies are tied right now, 60-60 at half. I don't care about the score. I care about what they look like. I said about Scottie Pippen earlier as he was leading the team in points. Well, he's not now because I was getting ready for the show, trying to get booted up, and I'm guessing Brandon Clark scored 4 or 6 points right there to end the stretch, and now he's at 12 points. And so looking at Brandon Clark being the leading scorer, but overall, is there anything just watching it other than watching the Monday Night Football, which I know you are? You're cheating on us. You got an eye on the game. You got an eye on the NFL. Anything that kind of impressed you so far about any certain player other than maybe Jake LaRavia?
Well, first off, you're wrong. I don't have an eye on the game. I only have an eye on Monday Night Football. No TV in this room. Just the fun. Same thing, Brandon. I think Brandon looks really good. I didn't get to watch most of the second quarter because I was trying to figure out where in the world I was going to do this show. But when I have been watching, Brandon looks really good. Jake looks comfortable, which I think is the most you can ask for. I don't think you want Jake to be an all-star. You just want him to be comfortable enough to be able to contribute. He looks like that. Bane looks like he's in midseason form with a lot of these shots, which is awesome. Ja looks a little rusty, but like to be expected, especially with his play style. I think the most interesting thing is Edey. Like Edey has had moments where his size did exactly what you want it to do. And then he's had moments where it didn't look like he really knew how to use his size. And that's to be expected. So the fact you've seen it contribute, and I think these kind of minutes are going to be really good for him going against a Derek Lively and going against maybe a Daniel Gafford and having to see what it looks like against a real NBA center consistently on how to use your size. And so it's good to see it work. He's got to learn how to make it consistently work, though. And that's, I think, stood out to me so far.
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I've seen is the ball movement just in general. The ball's popping a lot. We're not seeing a lot of I don't want to say one-on-one because we are seeing so much one-on-one with that, but that's because the ball's moving so much. The ball's moving, which around the perimeter eventually you're going to have somebody that's the defense is trying to overlap and overplay, and they're just not happy. They're not able to get to everybody. So you're going to see those slashes. That's not one-on-one basketball. But those are cuts. It ends up being one-on-one basketball. But a lot of it is just backdoor cuts, which I've seen the most. I will say that Scottie Pippen Jr., as Wayne's saying, he does look very good. I've loved the way he's looked so far. He looks confident. He looks like he's deserving to be there. Another guy before I can get you to talk real quick, Jitty. Luke coming in with the Jitty time. Jitty don't look too bad. Jitty might be all right in his offense.
And again, we're not overreacting, though. I'm going to go back to not overreacting for a second, just for that. Now we'll bounce back to overreacting. The Scottie Pippen Jr. Brandon Clark connection clearly needs some work. It was one of the main things I noticed. I wasn't going to say anything on it. It was like 3 possessions in a row. They turned it over in the paint on a cut. Not like dog. But I have a question for you. How much of that is going to be this new offense they're trying to put in that involves a lot of these cuts, and they have to get used to making those connections with each other and what's not much space, right?
Yeah, so I think, and I know Ryan has talked about this a lot, is we're going to see a lot of turnovers. And I know he's big on early season turnovers because of a new offense. You're going to see guys that are a little bit rusty, even though they've been here, they played well. You're going to see them kind of come back and kind of look a little rusty at times. And so I like the offense, and I think the offense is different, but I think we're going to see a lot of turnovers. And so that's something, if you want to look at, if you're a betting person, which I am, I know you are as well, Nate, but I will say that we're going to look at potentially a bunch of turnovers. But this offense will benefit a lot of these guys that are ancillary pieces because they'll get the backdoor cuts. And I think that's the biggest thing with this offense is you're going to see a lot of these guys who don't do a ton. They're going to be able to do a lot more because they'll have, quick one-on-ones they'll be able to get to.
Yeah, and they kind of got it twofold, right? You got the rust of just starting the season when you're coming into that, and they've got the whole instituting a new offense, right, and trying to get used to that. So it'll be a lot of that, but to be honest, when it comes to, I really only wanted to talk about Edey jumping like what looked like 6 feet in the air because of how tall he is, but more so like probably 3 inches. But on that alley-oop, how awesome that looked. I was like, he looks like Superman flying through the air. Truth be told, though, I don't have much to take away from this other than they look as rusty as I thought. The guys who would really want to not look rusty don't, which is Brandon and Jake.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 biggest unknowns other than Edey, who's going to be a rookie. So that's just an unknown in and to itself. Bane looking really good is just a plus, right?
Right.
So those are the main 2 guys you want to see look really good, and they have. So that's all I was really worried about coming into this.
Yeah, a few things. Let's go into Edey real quick. I want to ask your opinion on this. This is coming in from Wayne. Wayno, I don't know if it's Wayno or Wayne Hunt. Like, that's his government name. And Wayne, I don't know if we're allowed to say your full name, but you're on your non-burner. I guess Wayno's your burner that we see in the mornings. Make sure you tune in the mornings. Luke will be there. I believe Rusty's there in the morning. So make sure you tune in to the Daily Grind. They'll be there at 7:30 Central. But wants to know, when JJ was first 3 season, that's Jaren, early foul troubles, are we going to see that possibly with a guy like Edey and him having those foul troubles early on?
Yeah, I would expect you do. It would be a bonus if you didn't, but he's young and huge, and he's going to be having to defend guards that are some of the most athletic human beings on the planet. So it's going to be natural for him to want to swipe down because he was able to do that in college, right? And you already saw it once in the first half. I don't know if maybe it was Dinwiddie that came into the paint, but somebody he swiped down on instead of staying tall. You can get away with that in college against a lot of the guards you're playing against. It's going to be a lot tougher to do that going against these NBA guards. So I would be surprised if you didn't see it a bit. Now, maybe he's a fast learner, right? I don't think any of us would. For all the awesome stuff Jaren does, I don't think we'd say he was a fast learner when it came to blocks and keeping himself out of foul trouble, right? But, we'll see with Edey. There's a lot of college tape on him being tall and staying tall, but it would be natural for him to run into trouble like that and issues with that.
Yeah. There's a lot that's going on. All right, let's get through some of these chat questions, which I will say, listen, I love being here. One, it's only Nate, I love you. And I know that we are very tight. We're boys. But man, I love the chat just because it's fun. Like I plan stuff for the show, But as we've talked about in the past, is we always allow the chat to take us. So if you're joining us on Twitter, thank you as always. As Keith is joining us on Twitter, you can't see the real gem of the show, and that is honestly, it's the chat. And so the chat is always amazing. The chat is the best. And so I just want to say thank you to everybody because we're in our first preseason halftime show. We're not going to go a full hour tonight. There's no reason to. I know everybody wants to watch the game. Everyone wants to get back and watch this football game that is closing in on 2 minutes to go in the first half. It's 10-7 Chiefs. But I just want to say thank you. So keep it popping. We're going to get through a lot of these questions now because I want to get through them. But Nate, I'm going to come to you real quick. And we got this first question that's going to be from Kenny. He wants to know, who's the player that's trapped in the cage that Zaire was in last year?
I guess an imaginary friend. Same one Zaire's thinking of, talking about himself. Yeah, I have no idea, man. That's just an unanswerable question. I saw that press conference and I was like, dude, what are we talking about?
What an idiot.
Like, you were trapped in, and maybe it was just like, he may have not been accusing the Grizzlies organization and just saying, hey, I felt trapped because of my emotional state. And anyone who's played any sport at a high enough level knows that a change of scenery can do wonders for you, right? And it's nothing to do with anybody other than your own head. Right. So there's a chance Zaire was saying that. And to be clear, as an ex-athlete, I get that. As the Grizzlies go, no one had a longer leash in the history of Grizzliesdom. Right. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean to say I didn't feel terrible about that. Who's the player that's trapped in the cage? I guess the closest thing you can come to is Jake. Because if trapped in the cage is what we're relating to Zaire, I'm assuming that means, okay, you get every opportunity to prove yourself and earn your time on the court. And if you don't, you don't. That's probably Jake, especially with Vince and Gigi out to start the season. Maybe Jalen Wells, but a little bit.
That's a good one. No, I would say your answer is probably right with Jake, because he's going to get probably more time than he should sometimes, and he has, but he's also has potential. It's just whether or not he plays into it. So whatever we're going to call the Zaire trap, that's where Jake is. So we're going to see if he comes out of it. If he comes out of it, great. If he doesn't, he doesn't. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's keep it moving a little bit. We have a few more questions. I want to ask this about you, but we talked about him briefly. Santi Aldama. Any thoughts on? I know we saw him in the past in the summer, and he looked really good. Looks like Chiefs go up 13-7, minute 32 in the second, going into the second quarter.
Live bet a Derek Carr pick, by the way.
I went 7-0 Saturday and Sunday on my picks, just so we're on the same page. I'm setting up well with that field goal. Santi Aldama, thoughts on Santi?
Let's see. I think it was Luke that in the chat a little bit after that said he's Summer Santi in the flesh. Would love for that to carry over. FIBA has clearly proven itself to be much different than the NBA. When you look at the World Cup and the Olympics, vastly different. That being said, there's plenty that Santi could have transfer over that just doesn't seem to work. I think once you have Edie here, you have Brandon back, you have Gigi and Vince back, and Santi gets to be in what's really his optimal role. There's a much better chance of that translating over because he's asked to do less, which is going to give him the freedom to do more, right? And so, so far he's looked good. Listen, despite what my wonderful wife may say, she's not the biggest Santi fan in the world, but it's okay. We're working on it. I think Santi's got a ton of talent. He always has. Can he play like a true big? The good news is with the Grizzlies' healthy roster, he may get away with not playing like a true big.
We know Wayno does not like Santi. He wants him to get that trade value up. Looking at this offense and the style now, I think what we're going to see is we're going to see that Santi is going to be good at in this offense because it's more free-flowing. It allows a lot of the back cuts, like I was talking about a little bit earlier. Like we're going to see Santi really flourish in this, and it's more of the European style of offense. And so I'd say if you have the Santi stock, I would hold on to it because it's only going to get bigger. But if you want to sell it, Wayno, looking at you, if you want to sell your stock, I'm here to take it. But I love Santi. I think he's going to be very good in this offense for sure. All right. before we get on to our first break, because it's going to be a quicker show. So normally we're going to go about 30 or so minutes, and then we'll get to the Grizz trivia because we have more to talk about. The Grizzlies are back to playing again. It looks like we're at 72-69, 8 minutes to go into the third quarter.
Nice.
So so the Grizzlies are winning. John Morant has come out in the second half, and he now is up to 13 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists, which is good. And so there's a lot that's going on. But final takes on what you've seen so far. And so we're curious. He tweaked his ankle again. Hold on.
Like I don't know why I played again after he tweaked it the first time, to be honest.
Like not like again, but like again, Ryan. Like we're not like he did it, but then like he came back in and he's good, or like he did it and then like he did it again. That's what I want to know because I'm not watching it.
Yeah.
So please tell me. The people want to know.
Here's an idea: if your star point guard tweaks his ankle in the first half of the first preseason game, let's just call it a night. Let's just call it a night. But hey,
he did it again. Like not again, but like he did it again.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All right. So it looks like he went up for a dunk, came down gingerly. All right. Final thoughts. We're gonna take our first break, but any last thoughts about this besides, as Rusty says, him limping off the court after a dunk?
No. That's like the last thing I needed to hear before we got off tonight, to be honest. Listen, man, just shut it down. Just shut it down. I don't want to see him again, maybe till the last preseason game. Let's just take it easy. Let's let everybody else do. Let's let Scotty get some more run.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back here in about a minute or so, but we're going to hear from a little bit of the night court.
The trade with Julius Randle, he goes from Minnesota, or goes from the Knicks to Minnesota. Minnesota sends Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
I don't know who won the deal.
I don't think anybody won. I think both teams benefited.
Moved on?
Yeah, but both moved on, but also benefited. Timberwolves side of it, they were going to start to run up against money problems. Eventually, you have to make some hard choices, and I think that choice was what they did, was moving Towns. The Knicks are. You look at their team and you say, okay, can you find some more dynamic people on the offensive end? If you get Karl Anthony Towns to play the way that he played last year, which was he played inside, put the ball on the floor, he didn't just stand at the three-point line and cast, then I think it gives them just a little some more that's dynamic on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Look at those new transitions from our guy, Kenny, who's on vacation. I love it. All right, welcome back to Grizz 901. This is your favorite post-game show. We're at halftime in the Grizzlies game. They're currently leading, but Nate is with me as well. But make sure you do us a favor. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Bluff City Media anytime you can, whether if you want to go and follow us on Twitter at BCM Grizzlies, or if you want to go ahead and go over to our YouTube. We'd love to have you there. YouTube is through and through the more fun platform just because you get all of us. You get the chat, which is always going to be popping. If you love it tonight, you're going to love it during the regular season game, because just like preseason games, some people don't want to watch. Well, that's how the chat is. The chat's going to be good always, but it's even better during the regular season game. And you know what's better? It is waking up to some Grizzly stuff. You can wake up to Luke. You got Luke and Rusty in the morning with the daily grind. So tune into that at 7:30 because they're going to be there ready for you. But you know what we have next? We have Grizz trivia. All right, we got Grizz trivia. All right, we're turning it up for some Grizz trivia. I like it.
Always.
All right, Nate, we got a question for you, and I'm going to ask you this one first because this came from our guy King Meeks. Where is it? I know I saw it, King Meeks, and I want to get to it. He had a great Grizz trivia question. Okay, so Grizz trivia from King Meeks. This is the King Meeks style. Who who did the Grizz play at the Pyramid preseason game first? Like, who was the very first Pyramid preseason game? Do you know who that is?
Yes, of course. That is obviously the Seattle Supersonics. Clearly. Obviously,
Wow.
everyone knows this.
All right, that's a good one. I do not know this, and so obviously Kimmy's going to give us the answer. I'm gonna give my my chance to answer this time. It's got to be somebody that's probably close, right? A little bit of love. I would say the Lakers is the first preseason game for the Grizzlies. They're not close, but you need some cachet if you're coming in. And so maybe the first preseason game we have the Lakers. Luke says the Bobcats. Rusty's got the Warriors. So I want to know. King Minks, let us know. He didn't even know the answers, but he wants to say the Bulls. What is this? How do you Grizz trivia question? You don't know the answer. Somebody find that out for me before the show ends, if you don't mind. We'll ask the question. But Nate, I have my question for you. This is going to come in here real quick. We obviously know that the Grizzlies played a lot of people last year. And I think this is probably a trivia question we had at some point last year, but we honestly have the final number, and it was the NBA record. They set the NBA record as well with 33 different Grizzlies appearing in a game, right? Mm-hmm. So that's understood. But then we have, how many different starters did the Grizzlies play last year? Not starting lineups, starters overall. If you had to guess, how many different starters to set a league record did the Grizzlies have last year?
Different starters?
How many different starters?
Let's see. You got Jaren, Vince, John Marcus, Jaren, Vince, Gigi.
200, King Meek said.
That's probably pretty close. Who else played? I'm just going to assume Jake at some point. Zaire still played here last year. Scotty.
Hey, and while you're at it, as Kenny says, like and subscribe. Go ahead. I promise you, if you have the new algorithm of everything it seems to always change. But if you hit the like in it, if there's like 7 likes in a 10-minute span for whatever reason on a live show, it like jumps the algorithm. And just imagine that every time a multiple of 7 happens, it doubles it again. And so why I know that, whatever reason, but yeah, it's like it's a multiplier of 7. So
I'm tired of counting, so I'm gonna go with 18.
18.
I think Drew is closer with 21, but I can't guess something that I already saw Drew guess. So I'm going 18.
Yeah, Drew is very close, but he's not it. It is the number 23. So the Grizzlies had 23 different starters.
Is that a lot?
Which is a single season record. Not just starting lineups in general, because we had that and we talked to that. Starters, there's only 5, right? There's only 5 starters a game. And so you got to think like how many different like lineups that was.
Is that a bunch?
Is
that good?
Not good. Hey, we are seeing Taylor Swift again. She's singing while they're potentially going in for a touchdown or a field goal, which is crazy. She's in the box going for it. And then Patrick Holmes is running out right now. It looks like he's about to throw it away. So they're going to be at 4th and 2. Looks like they're about the 20-ish yard line. So they're about to kick another field goal. So it's 7-13 currently with them going up. Let's give it.
Are you a Swiftie, Daniel?
My kids are Swifties.
Uh-oh.
So I keep up with her, not because I want to. Just I hear enough.
I thought you were raising them right.
I am raising them right. All right. So it's 81-74. The Grizzlies are up right now. And obviously, we did have our guy, John Morant, go out. But the leading scorer still is now it's Brandon Clark. Brandon Clark has played well. And so I did see that. So Kenny's talking about BC going with the 3 ball. Like that was pretty surprising for me. He tried it again, which obviously he bricked, but him having that 3 ball early in the game was pretty nice. So I thought that was cool. All right. Anything else you have? I don't want to spend too much time on here. There's no reason for us to kind of just beat around the bush the whole time. I feel like a quick show in and out is good. But we're going to have a little bit more of a look ahead as we get going. And we kind of want to know what y'all think, and it might come naturally. So I don't want to, completely just like push y'all to tell us what to do. But Nate was thinking a little bit of if people would be interested in giving out some players to watch for the next game. If you're looking at players to watch, do you want it to revolve around, I guess, player props for betting purposes, or do you want it to be just like guys to watch for the next games because they could have a matchup that you're looking to take advantage of? And then on the look, so we do the look ahead, which is the Grizzlies, and the look around. Look around the league is we're going to do a little bit of different things as we look around the league. We're going to look at what's upcoming for the Grizzlies, maybe standings as we go throughout the year. We're going to be looking at that and what maybe important games are happening for the Grizzlies as we get closer down the trade to the trade deadline, which is going to be closing into the season. A lot of people and King Meeks says rookies. I have something for you. I don't want to completely reveal it just yet, King Meeks, because I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it. But we are going to do a rookie ladder. And then you're going to have a chance to vote. It's going to be the Grizz 901 Bluff City Media Grizzly ladder. And we're going to have some graphics for it. And so every month we're going to have a way for you to go in and be able to look and see and vote for who you think the best rookies are right now. And so we'll be able to, to measure that as much as we can. So we're going to try different things on how to do that. And so I'm still in the works on doing that, but every month we're going to try to do that. And so it should be a fun time. But Nate, I hear people are saying player props.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about what players might do well. Who wants to listen to us talk about what players might be good just for kicks and giggies? No, we're going to talk about player props. It's also the only thing I'm allowed to bet in this wonderful, beautiful state of Utah. So, by the way, Brian Thomas yards, we may have seen the last week to be able to do that. Brian Thomas Jr. yards, just bet them every time until they start getting in the 70s, by the way.
For Jacksonville Jaguars, Big Guy wants to know, Brian Thomas, is he a rookie?
He's a rookie from LSU.
Okay.
LSU receivers, man.
Hey, let's go down this road real quick before we're going to answer this King Mix and we're going to go to the NFL, if that's all right with you. And if that's fine with y'all, I think the look ahead and the look around for the Grizzlies, I think looking around might be a little NFL talk as well. If it's something that is big on the horizon, not every night, not every show, but are we going to get any special guests again this year coming on the show? So yes and no. We're going to have special guests. I want to keep it to 2 people consistently. We are not doing weekends at all this year unless it's an important game. And I know that might piss some people off, but I don't want to be here on the weekends. Our weekend shows were not our biggest shows at all. And a lot of times those Saturdays and Sundays are snooze fest. They just really are, especially for extra content. You're watching the game and then you're trying to go back to your real life. I don't know if you need us necessarily. And so we'll see. As Big Die says, no. Big Die was last year one at the weekend shows. I think you were the only one. He loves the weekend. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what we're going to do. But I don't envision us going into the weekends as much as we plan on it. Now, if it's a big game, if it's important, then maybe we will. Maybe it'll be a last minute deal where we end up maybe doing a show. But for the most part, we're not going to do the weekends. We're going to keep it to a 2-man booth just because it makes more sense. And honestly, a lot of the special guest shows, numbers wise, I know if you like them, let us know. But numbers wise, they did not do well. And so that to me told me that you like Nate and I, which is great. But also I just felt like that's natural. And a lot of times people, can change up the way a show goes. So we'll do it every now and then. There will be no rhyme or reason to having guests on. Our plan is we are definitely going to have Ryan as kind of the third wheel, as I talked about earlier. But we're going to have some special people hit or miss that might pop in for a second. And a lot of times we might just do just me and that guest and then send them out and bring Nate back in. A lot of times that's easier. But the biggest thing that I miss is the checking of the guest. That that really upsets me. We're not going to see that. But Nate, is there any guess that you're possibly that you would like to have this year? If you could have like one, is there one guy you're like, hey, let's see if we can find him this year?
Coach Dan Campbell, leader of the Detroit Lions, would be amazing. I am a Lions fan. I would follow Dan Campbell anywhere. If he said jump, I'd say how high, even if it was off a cliff, I would trust him. And it would be awesome to have him as a guest. So realistically, no, I don't have any guess I think we can get on in the back of my head.
So King Meeks and Kenny have both talked about having Coach Jonathan Coachman. I do the show with him, Driving the Line. He is a good dude through and through. I'm on that show. I'm known as DG. So people who don't know me as much from that side of, I guess, my life now, I'm considered DG, which is obviously a lot of people call me as in here we go, Robbie DG. And so we might have to do a Dallas Detroit, a little showdown.
It's gonna be a show of the Cowboys going down. That's that trash team barely beat the Steelers with Justin Fields throwing a mile over his receiver's head.
Easy.
Cowboys, America's team, please.
I did not know he was a Lions fan either. King Meeks is wondering why you're a Lions fan. I had no idea. So big King Meeks, Dan Campbell, 49ers fan.
Like and David Montgomery. Dan Campbell and David Montgomery. That's about it.
Yeah, so we'll have some people on here hit or miss. Especially, I like to kind of fill the season out a little bit and kind of see how it's going. Last year, we tried to do as many things as we possibly could just because the season sucked. Let's just be honest. So we'll try to keep it me and Nate as much as possible. Ryan will be the third wheel with us, hit or miss. But we will make sure we bring on people ever so often. I'll definitely get Coach on here. That's a guarantee. He'll come on here, probably make fun of me. Do a little 15-minute spot and peace out. But that'll be a good time. But all right, this is it. We don't want to keep going on the show too much. We closed in on the 40 minutes. So anything you're looking ahead for the next game, Nate, which if we're looking at it, it is going to be on Thursday night at home. So the first home preseason game. Big Di said he misses Nate's door and the wreath that was up there for all of Christmas and New Year's and Valentine's Day. We're looking for the Christmas lights. Maybe we just make fun of Nate the whole time, but we have Thursday game against the Hornets, Grizzlies. One thought, anything you're looking for that game?
No. Honestly, I was surprised that I knew it was on Thursday. The fact that I knew it was on Thursday is more than I thought I would know about the game coming up. It'd be interesting. I mean, imagine Ja's probably not playing. It'd be interesting to see if they play a lot of these guys or if they let a good bit of them sit. So I don't know. It'd be hard to know what to look forward to until we even know who's going to be playing, to be honest. So if they are playing, I'd look for the same things that I was looking for tonight, right? How do Brandon and Jake look? Do they continue to look comfortable? Is it just a one-game thing and they're going to be inconsistent? And I think the biggest thing is how does Edey look if he's still playing? Like, does he look like he's figuring things out? Does it look like he's using that size with more intention? I think would be the right word for that. But other than that, just wanting the guys to knock the rust off. That's about it. Yeah.
I will say that them getting the rust off, I want to say that second unit, see who's gelling, who's kind of taking over. Because I think that's important to me to see who's going to kind of to step up. The only problem with all of this is we don't have GG at all. Whoa, what's this? Do we do two? I don't know.
Oh wow, I thought this was just Zoom. StreamYard's getting on the action too.
I don't know what just happened. All right, so. Anyway, I guess if I hold a thumbs up, that's probably not good. Yeah, okay. I got to stop doing that.
Yeah, you can turn that off in settings. It's okay. It's preseason. That's preseason.
Got to turn that button off. I say I'm looking forward to these young guys, but Gigi's not playing. Vince isn't playing, which is two guys I'm really looking forward to take the next step. But overall, I think it's going to be a good season to kind of look at these guys and see really what they're all about. And so overall it is the young guys I want to see, but I want to see these vets and see how sharp they look. BC looking so good tonight has been an incredible bonus for tonight overall. Jaw getting hurt sucks. But it looks like it's just a roll of an ankle. It's not a snap. Doesn't look like tendon issues. Doesn't look anything crazy. So I'm hoping that we see Ja again. I just don't think we'll see him Thursday night. But I will say that Monday night I will not be here. Nate will be hosting the show, and so that's half of the reason I didn't want to show all the new stuff, because one, I haven't even told him exactly what we're doing, and so we're going to make sure that we do have a little bit more, and we're going to have it a little bit broken up where it ends up, it'll speed through. But as all the chat will take it over as always. But it looks like we're having some stuff about Tony Allen. I would love to get Tony Allen on the show. That would be awesome. And so we'll see. I have people that are close to him. I might ask some people. And then the cats, the door's shut. There's no cats tonight. So no cats tonight. Key Mix, I'll have the cats come back to you. But that's all we got. I'm going to try to see if I can end the stream. There's a new way that StreamYard's doing it. We'll see. But that's all we got for all of you joining us on a preseason night. The Grizzlies are up 93-90 going into the fourth quarter. We appreciate you. We'll be back here Monday night. I will not be. Brian will be in for me. But what do we always say? Be nice and tell your friends.